Today we're going to rebuild the Los Angeles Chargers. They're one of the most consistent underperforming teams in the NFL. For those of us with a regular human-sized functioning brain, we recognize it's not Justin Herbert, but it's the everything else. And today we're going to help Justin Herbert get the everything else. And that starts with a new head coach, new GM, maybe. I'm taking over. That's what we're doing. And we're going to go ahead and put some pieces around Herbert and see what this team is truly capable of. So Brandon Staley is almost certainly going to get fired. I feel like that's a no-brainer. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and man, this defense is bad. It's pretty unbelievable how bad they are when they need to play well. Now, there are some talented pieces. Khalil Mack has had a career resurgence this season. He was kind of a guy that we thought was was a shell of his former self, and we're not even to the end of the season yet, and he's pretty much doubled his sack total from the year before. Now, there's a real shot that in 2023, he can combine his sack total from 2020, 2021, and 2022 combined. Now, he would have to go on a crazy tear to get that, but let me put that into perspective. And I think most of us know at this point it's not just about sacks. Production as a pass rusher is just not only the quarterback sack total. It's pressures is a great indicator. Hurrying the quarterback, hitting the quarterback, and setting up your teammates to make plays. The responsibility of an edge rusher isn't always to rush the quarterback and get the sack anyway. Sometimes on a stunt, maybe you're setting a pick, maybe you're letting a teammate come in free as a looper, maybe you're just setting the edge. It's not every rep is they're trying to get a sack, even though that seems like it would be. It's not always, which I know a lot of you know. But how does he go from 15 right now to 23, which is his combined total from these 3 years with the Bears and the Chargers? Well, the Chargers have 5 games left, and Khalil Mack in his last 5 games has 8 sacks. 2 against the Patriots, 2 against the Ravens, 2 against the Packers, was held with 0 against the Lions. They've got a couple of really good tackles, especially Penei Sewell, and then 2 against the Jets. Outside of that, we also know about his 6-sack explosion against the Raiders, who is one of these teams on the schedule to end the season. They play December 14th. So if Khalil Mack keeps on his current pace through the last 5 games and even has another big performance against the Raiders, even just 2 sacks again, he would hit 23, which also, as we know, would be the record for sacks in a season. So it's something to monitor. I don't know how close he's actually going to get. He's at, a wild pace right now, but he is close. And in a way, it's kind of coming full circle for me. For those of you who have been on the channel for a really long time, seeing some of the older rebuilds, a lot of them even private now. Khalil Mack is one of my favorite players in the league. Certainly was with the Raiders, the sack attack from the silver and black. I would always trade for him in my rebuild videos consistently to the point where it became a big channel meme. I've loved him as a player. When I first really started getting into the NFL draft back in 2014, I found him out really early in the process, coming out of Buffalo, and I was like, this guy's way too good not to be talked about at all. And he ends up being a top 5 pick. I felt justified in what I was seeing, even though at that point I didn't even have access to all 22. Defensive line is one of those positions you can see on broadcast, and you can actually see quite a bit compared to a defensive back, for example. But I didn't know what I was talking about then, even though I maybe thought I did. Know a little bit more now, even though still a lot of learning to do. But Khalil Mack, just one of my guys for that reason. Love him, and I don't know what we can do here in this rebuild. He's 32 years old and only an 86 overall, which I say only, but he's going to regress and regress and regress. So we'll have to see what we do, but yeah, just wanted to shine some light on that situation. He could be in pursuit of 23, which would be an all-time single-season record. As for the rest of the team, I think Shamari Sawyer should be rated higher. That's pretty much what I have to say. He's a little underrated, did a great job filling in for Rashawn Slater last year. 70 just feels a touch light. That's what I'll say. Offense overall looks great. I'm probably going to end up trading Austin Eckler, granting his trade request. We're going to get more back for him than the Chargers would have in real life if they wanted to trade him. And then defensively, secondary needs to improve. Defensive line needs to improve. Obviously, I have a couple of stud edge rushers. At linebacker, it's shocking. Eric Hendricks is an 82 overall, and Kenneth Murray might even be a touch high at 74 overall. It might be Deion Henley season. The rookie out of Washington State, really good athlete, could end up developing into being a really nice player. Definitely liked him coming out of the draft. But that is the team preview. I didn't shed light on everybody. Shout out Scott Matlock. And let's go ahead and start this rebuild. So hopefully we'll go ahead and dominate training camp, get some upgrades. Already did the Justin Herbert target passing. And Austin Eckler, I'm just trying to increase his trade value. As little as this might actually make a difference, I'm going to get something for him. But I'm going to tell you, he's just not going to be the future of this team. Now, a huge part of the offense, just in Madden, he's not going to be it for me. He is a superstar X Factor, which gives him some big trade value, but he is also an aging running back that's not an especially high overall. We're going to have to do better in the game. I know that's going to be tough. He's a great player. I know he streams on Twitch too. Shout out Austin Eckler. I'm sure he needs it. But yeah, I got to trade you. I'm sorry. I am also going to try and develop Quentin Johnston. Didn't mention him in the beginning, and it's because there's nothing good to say, unfortunately, right now. Got a long way to go. We'll have to see where he ends up. But he's definitely athletic enough. Needs to hit the jugs machine. Needs to perfect his route running. And perfect is definitely... I mean, that's being nice. He's got to become somewhat useful as a route runner. Needs to become even okay. Also, as I go into cheat, chase, and tackle by putting the kicker at quarterback, the kicker is Cameron Dicker, the kicker. Hook him. What a player. Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Gotta love it. I'm going to Louisiana for the first time. And New Orleans, of course. And hopefully Texas doesn't let me down. There are going to be a lot of you probably that are watching this after the results of that game. And hopefully Texas didn't lose to Washington. We'll see. But certainly a possibility. Washington has a very good offense, and you know, if their defense goes 3 high, they're probably going to go and beat Texas. It's been the recipe for disaster for the Texas offense historically under Steve Sarkisian. However, now that they might actually be able to run the football, that might not be so true anymore. 3 down, 3 high has been defeated. Maybe I'm wrong. This actually could be a big development, though. Keenan Allen wants to help Quentin Johnston. Somebody has to. Long-term development could boost his dev trait up from what it is, which is star, I'm guessing, up to superstar, which could make him, in turn, a superstar caliber receiver for this team. And that's exactly what we need. +1 to throw power for Justin Herbert. Wouldn't say that's necessary. He's already got an absolute cannon. Just need to improve that accuracy, and he's going to be a 99 overall in no time. Hey, Quentin Johnston is developing a bunch already. Show me superstar dev, Keenan Allen, please. Quentin Johnston, now superstar development. Got to upgrade route running, got to upgrade catching, but now he's going to be able to do so at a way faster rate. Justin Herbert continues to fly up. Zion Johnson, first-round pick from a year ago. Well, I guess I'd call it a year ago. A year and a half, 2 years ago. It was the draft class before last, because Quentin Johnston, I guess, was last year. So 2 years ago with Zion Johnson, not Johnston. So, he's going to get a little bit of a boost. Don't know this player. Give me an amen. No, it's already happening. Coach, I know you're frustrated with Quentin Johnston. Dude couldn't hang on to anything last game. I know. Is there anything specific you want him to work on, especially or essentially? I'm going to say getting open. Getting open would be nice. And medium routes, I feel like, are kind of the toughest thing to upgrade. So he's going to get +2 to release, +2 to medium route running. I've been here before, which is a nice boost for him. I know catching is an area of concern, but that's going to get upgraded naturally. Whereas medium route running, I feel like, is a little bit tougher to get. But he's already going to be up to a 75 overall, which is really nice. And he's going to start. Deep route running needs to go up. Medium route running is actually his highest route running right now. But we're going to go ahead and upgrade deep threat. And that should boost him by at least 1 or 2 to deep route running you'd expect. +2 to deep route running, catching, and release also go up. So release is already up to a 76. Route running is approaching the 80s. Catching is going to end up going up. And 89 speed for Quentin Johnston is way too slow. Maybe that's factoring in that he's 6'4". It is way too slow. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and run, 4.2, 4.3, like JT Woods might, right? But He should definitely be above 89 speed. That is not accurate, I don't think. So I am going to do auto-generated for this rebuild as well. The realistic rebuilds are going to be right around the corner. I've completed my draft class. It's the newest uploaded file. And I go ahead and do this. So if you go to the Madden share on Xbox, the new consoles, and type in my gamer tag, which is Gene Dangus, Genedangus, you're going to find my most recent uploaded file is 2024 NFL Draft Bengal. So not this top one. Actually, that's my bad. My gamer tag is Big Game Gene now. It used to be Gene Dangus. Right now it's Big Game Gene. So if you type in Big Game Gene, all of my draft classes will come up, which is a lot of testing it out. Now, here's the problem. For rebuilds, it's going to work out fine. If you're doing an actual draft class, as you can see from the right side of the screen, the faces work, but the player models and all of the equipment, everything reverts in the game. Blame EA. I spent so many hours creating this draft class for you guys to use like I do every year, and the fact that everything reverts is incredibly frustrating. And I'm going to tell you, when you spend 30 to 40 hours creating multiple draft classes after you created one and then trying to fix it and then going in and creating another one and then thinking it's fixed and finishing it and then having it not be fixed, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. There are hundreds of players that are in here, real players, but I am not recreating it from scratch again. Absolutely not. But you can try it. For rebuilds, it's going to work out perfectly. If you're actually playing the games, every player model ends up being the same. It's not my fault. It's ridiculous. It's one thing after another with this game. And unfortunately, this appears to be a strong quarterback class. That is not an area of need for us at all. And look at these little bald guys up here at the top. Strengths of the class: wide receiver, quarterback, left end. I could consider drafting a receiver, to be honest. Now, we have Mike Williams, who is awesome. We have Keenan Allen, who is better than awesome. Although these guys are aging, especially Keenan Allen. And then we have Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston. So it's not at the top of the list of needs in Madden. But if there's a player that's good enough, I could consider it. Quarterback, obviously not. And then left end, I guess we could be in play for one of those. I'll probably just look at defensive end and defensive tackle, though. And we do manage to get Austin Eckler one more upgrade point. As I've kind of mentioned quite a lot up to this point, I'm going to trade him. Just doesn't make sense to keep him on the roster, unfortunately. 28 years old. Final year of his deal. I'm not going to re-sign him. So we might as well get something back for him. Eric Kendricks probably as well. Now, he used to be one of the best linebackers in the league. He just doesn't move the same way anymore, which is unfortunate, but we're also going to have to trade him. So as always, in pursuit of long-term success, we're going to kind of like fully go away from short-term success. We're going to trade some of these starters in efforts to be better, a year or two from now. And we also have to be mindful of how much money we spend, because that Justin Herbert contract's going to get pretty expensive pretty quickly. I don't think I'm going to trade for a receiver. Again, I feel pretty good about where a receiver is. Don't really want to trade in the division either. Deron Payne is an interesting option, as is Jerome Baker. I prefer someone, I know it's 26 doesn't seem that old, but I prefer somebody like 25 or younger just for the sake of long-term development. Jalen Petrie could be a nice Nasir Adderley replacement, who, of course, kind of surprise retired. But I don't want Austin Eckler for Jalen Petrie. It's not a bad offer. We can move some things around, figure something out. Alohi Hillman is like a decent backup, but if I can get Jalen Petrie and a higher draft pick, it's not going to end up being a first-round pick, but we're going to work with this. This is going to end up being a nice trade. I definitely don't want to trade Tuli Tuipulotu. I'm on another trade for right now. I might work back to Jalen Petrie, trying to get Paulson Adebo currently. And we could pull it off, for sure. We really need help at corner. It's going to be Gerald Everett, Eric Kendricks, a 4th and a 5th for Paulson Adebo and a 3rd-round pick next year. Feel pretty good about that. It's rental players, really. Everett and Kendricks were not going to be on the team long-term because of age and just overall. So, Paulson Adebo, welcome to the Chargers. Really nice pickup for us. He's under contract for the next couple of years, but just a really nice player. also only 24 years old. It's important to get those younger players because they're just easier to develop. And now Austin Eckler, we could potentially figure something else out. Do I want to trade one of my receivers? Allen's going to regress, but it's going to be, I don't really want to trade him. Mike Williams, kind of the same deal. Josh Palmer is kind of like the guy that could end up going because Johnston has to play right away. He's got superstar dev. Doesn't make sense to have him buried on the depth chart. We want to build around him. I know that seems crazy. Could move him to tight end, say figure out blocking, but he's only 215 pounds. I'm going to have to accept this trade. It's going to be Austin Eckler, Sebastian Joseph Day to the Vikings for Brian O'Neill. I'd like to get a second-round pick as opposed to a third, and I would settle for a second-round pick next year to make it happen. And I'd also maybe do a pick swap this year. So let's see where this gets us. That's just accepted. All right, Austin Eckler and Sebastian Joseph Day as our defensive line gets even more depleted for Brian O'Neill, huge upgrade at right tackle, and a second-round pick this year and next year. That is simply an amazing trade for us as we secure our starting right tackle, and we've pretty much solidified the offense. Josh Palmer eventually does get traded, probably. We don't have a running back right now, but the offensive line is perfect. We're going to find a tight end easily. Johnson can be receiver 3. God, I'm just forcing myself to develop him. Don't have another running back right now. It's just Josh Kelly and Isaiah Spiller. Would like to do better than that, but it's not going to be this year. And then defensively, we get work Dion Henley into the starting lineup. I want to get Tuli Tuipulotu on the field, which means that probably Joey Bosa slides down to end. Nah, I think I'm just going to move Tuli Tuipulotu down there, and he'll start. And he's a 77 overall there. Okay, so it took me 43 minutes to set up the team, but here we finally are, and we're ready to make an impact. Except I'm going to switch around these positions for the sake of the scheme fit. Except we're not really going to make an impact. We're just a pretty bad team this year. We are going to end up being good, but I fear by the time we get reinforcements, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa to some extent, and certainly Khalil Mack will have regressed. So we're going to have other problems to deal with. We're going to need more picks, younger and better players, but other than that, we are good to go. I'd also love to be able to develop Kenneth Murray as someone that can actually play in coverage. He's going to be an interesting re-sign candidate because he's someone that I wouldn't re-sign in real life, yet here in the game, he's got star dev. He's a 75 overall now, only 24 years old. Probably won't be very expensive. It probably just makes sense to re-sign him in the game. And we're actually 4-2 at the midseason mark, doing surprisingly well. We are negative 24 million in cap space, though. So I have no idea what just happened. So some of the contracts I traded are clearly killing us right now. What were the penalties on some of these? Obviously, Herbert is a contract we cannot get out of. That gets more and more and more and more and more expensive. Where can I save money? Brian O'Neill? Corey Linsley can't get rid of. Michael Davis getting cut. Austin Johnson getting cut, probably. Easton Stick gone. All right, we got to get to work here. I mean, but we're in a tough spot because we're actually performing well. I don't think cutting Michael Davis really hurts us too bad, though. Same thing with Easton Stick. It doesn't free up a ton of money, but it's going to do the job. So right now we have 42 mil in cap space, but for 2024, it's not going to be so good because a lot of these salaries, I'm assuming, are going to jump up in value, like Khalil Mack, incredibly so. Joey Bosa, same deal, paying him a ton of money. And Keenan Allen, a ton. Mike Williams, a ton. Oh my goodness. All of these contracts jump up. They double their value almost. And Herbert doesn't get any better. Oh my God, we're screwed. Nuts and bolts, we are screwed. So here's what's going to happen. I am not going to re-sign anybody because I can't. I simply won't even be able to offer. And if I want to bring somebody back, they're going to have to get franchise tagged. And I'm not going to be able to franchise tag Kenneth Murray. I don't think I can franchise tag anybody because I can't even offer them in the first place. I have to trade I have to trade Kenneth Murray. I'll try to get anything back. I can't really even get anything. We're going to have to be not doing anything. All right, I got a 3rd round pick for him. That's actually a pretty good return. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how badly we were going to get screwed over by these contracts in 2024. It's going to be brutal. We're going to have to draft really well. And we're going to have to save money really well because we're not going to be able to do anything. Didn't end up making the playoffs, 9-8, which honestly feels about right on brand. Justin Herbert leads the league in passing yards, throws for 29 touchdowns. Rushing, we had no rushing game. And receiving 3 receivers over 1,000 yards, including the rookie out of TCU, Quentin Johnston. 10 touchdowns for him as well, led the team. Very interesting. Defensively, Deion Henley had 111 tackles, which led the team. 5 for loss, which was outside of the top 4. Tuli Tuipulotu had an incredible season. Morgan Fox, 15 TFLs, 14 for Mack, 11 for Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa both go double-digit sacks. Tuli Tuipulotu not too far behind, and then nobody even with 2 interceptions on the team. Our rival Chiefs beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts wins league MVP. And I was really hoping to see Quentin Johnston for Offensive Rookie of the Year. It goes to Bijan, but in Madden there's 2. So the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year is still wide open. And defensive for Tuli Tuipulotu as well. And Johnston is in here, meaning he probably did win Offensive Rookie of the Year for the AFC, which is exactly what happened. So a big XP bonus. And he is up to a 78 overall. Gonna upgrade deep threat here. I keep doing physical, and they're like, nah, we're going to do other stuff. I want to make him that main scheme fit, but it doesn't really particularly matter, as we're going to just make him very good in the near future. He's getting better. He's getting actually quite good. And 78 overall, not awful. Now, it looks like we didn't get any type of upgrade for Tuli Tuipulotu. However, I love where he is in his development already. And I think we're ahead of schedule in this rebuild so far. Now, money is just a really, really big problem for us right now. And I'm not really sure what we do to remedy that at the moment. Now, some of these players are going to end up being more releasable. You can see we have negative 3.76 million in available cap room. Now that these contracts have flipped to 2024, we can actually save money by getting rid of players like Khalil Mack, like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I don't want to do that. Brian O'Neill's a big one, but I'm certainly not going to get rid of him. Corey Linsley. The big one that we really could get rid of is, I guess, Morgan Fox right now. That's probably the best thing we can do, is cut Morgan Fox. Had a great year. No one's going to want him via trade. Just going to go ahead and save some money there, but I can't cut Khalil Mack. He's down to an 83 overall, up to Superstar X Factor. But what am I supposed to do? He's regressing wildly. I should have traded him last year, and I knew it as well. But it hurt too much. But now I have to. But I can't even afford to bring back Alohi Gilman or anybody. Not even Dicker the kicker. Devastating. But what I can do is advance to free agency. Those guys walk. I make a trade. I get rid of the Khalil Mack contract, which is just the right thing to do, unfortunately. And then we have a little bit of wiggle room. So Joey Bosa also up to Superstar X Factor. Derwin James is as well if he didn't have it. But I think he definitely had it already. Mike Williams, Superstar in the final year of his deal. Asante Samuel Jr. in the final year of his deal. Austin Depot as well. Tuli Tuipulotu up to Star Dev. So even with no Defensive Rookie of the Year, he does get an upgrade. So that's awesome. We're actually doing quite well. Deion Henley would have been really nice. But yeah, we unfortunately have to trade Khalil Mack. His contract is just too unbelievable. And whatever I can get back for him, I'm going to end up taking. But I think he might have more value as a defensive end, so we're going to change his position. His overall does bump up one to an 84 from an 83. But I also think more teams might be interested in playing him at defensive end. Marte Mapu could be a big fit. Play him at linebacker. I could be really interested in that. Do we do that? I might care for a pick more. They have number 4 overall. We're not going to be able to get that. But maybe a second. We're at 18 right now. I'm sure we could move up for it. Maybe 18 and Khalil Mack for number 4. Okay, we're going to work something around that. It's going to be a big trade up. Could always trade back down. How about a 4th rounder the year after that? Not quite. I will do a 3rd round pick this year, plus the 1st Khalil Mack to move up to number 4. It's a big trade, and we'll see what we do with it. Although the biggest part of that trade is clearing up cap space, and unfortunately really can't target any of these players, as nice as they would be to have. Everett in free agency. Always funny to see. I want to bring back Dicker the kicker. Bring Cameron Dicker back. Could sign Cam Akers. Just get a running back in there. Cam Akers to a 2-year deal could be good. Anyone else? Probably not. Yeah, I think we just need to save our money. So we're going after Dicker the kicker and Cam Akers, and we'll see if we can get one or both. Did get Cam Akers. It's a 2-year deal. And Cam Dicker probably just going to wait out this first or second period of free agency. I think we do end up signing him, though. So I will see you at the draft. Another Craig? You got to be joking. I saw one Craig before in the draft, and now we have another. From Miami, Craig, man. What a name. What a guy. I also like Von DiCarvalho. That's a fun one. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think Craig at this point is kind of a crazy name. Not crazy. I know there's some Craigs watching this. Like, what the fuck just happened? But like, you don't meet that many new Craigs. I say new, I mean like baby. I guess I don't mean any babies. But, you don't hear about young people being named Craig. And you certainly don't hear the last name. I can think of one person with the last name Craig, Roger Craig, the Niners running back of the 80s and 90s. And to see a guy not only with the last name Craig, but his parents go, what would be a great idea to pair with our last name? What if we named the baby Craig? It's just insane. And also, I don't know, I have like some type of weird dysmorphia right now with the name. Seeing Craig just doesn't look like anything. It just looks like random letters mushed together. I don't like it. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, Craigs of the world. Sterling Levy from Alabama looks like a great player. Pretty good rush player, great athlete, great pursuit, play rec awareness, tackle, hit power. That probably should be the number 1 overall pick. Now, I have looked at some of these edge rushers as well down the board. I want to know their true talent. We're going to figure it out. So we might not end up picking at number 1 overall if some of these other players end up looking as good or even better in some cases. We'll see. The mock drafts probably have Sterling Levy going number 1 overall, and they do. So we would have to trade up to number 1 if we want to get that player. But he seems like he'd be a great fit. Ooh. It's a very interesting tight end. Matt Trenkel, 23-year-old tight end from Louisville. Elite speed. Looks to be a really good prospect. Could be something we target down the board if he gets available to us. But I think we should move up to number 1. I hate to do it, but it had to be done. Keenan Allen in the final year of his deal. His cap hit is close to $35 million. It just had to be traded. Keenan Allen, who's also regressing as well. Too many things working against him. We're trading a 2nd round pick, number 50, a 4th in 2026, and a 6th this year for Dameon Pierce to be our new starting running back and number 14 overall. It's proving to be quite difficult to trade up from number 4 to number 1, and I still think he's worth trading up for. Sterling Levy looks very, very good. Now, there are players who also look good in this class. Devin Carnegie looks very good. But I don't think anyone looks quite as good, from what I can tell, as Sterling Levy does. So, I really think I'm just going to bite the bullet and move all the way up to 1. It might have to be done incrementally instead of trading up from 1 to 4 like they would in real life. I think I'm going to have to trade up from like 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 1 to 1. I know that seems crazy, but they are being extremely stingy. They want like 4 first-round picks and Derwin James, and I can't do that. So it's going to be a 4 and a 5 from 4 to move up to 3. And I wish it didn't have to be done this way, but I'm going to, in these fantasy style rebuilds, I'm going to take advantage of whatever I can. And the number 1 pick from number 4 is being overvalued at this point. To move up for a quarterback, sure, I get it. I can't give you 4 first-round picks in Derwin James for the number 1 pick to move up 3 spots. I just can't do it. Some of you will think, oh, well, you don't get to get that player then. But that's where you're wrong, because I'm going to. Like, to get number 2, the Rams want 3, 14, 40, and then a 3rd and a 7th next year. No. But I am going to do that, which is stupid. Here we are. I am trading, oh God, number 3, number 14, a 2nd this year, a 2nd next year, a 3rd next year, and a 3rd the year after that for number 1 and number 33. So I have the first pick now in each of these first 2 rounds. We traded a lot. This guy better be disgusting. Now, finesse moves and power moves are going to be middle of the pack. I get that. However, he is such a freak athlete and so good everywhere else, I think he's going to end up being very worth the pick here. Welcome to the Chargers. 86 strength, 83 speed, 90 acceleration. And with getting the first pick of the 2nd round, that also enables us to potentially trade down and get a future high draft pick or draft the tight end if he gets to that spot. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And then we pick in the middle of the 3rd round. So every player I've traded and gotten picks back for, I've now essentially traded those picks away in order to move up for 1 / potentially 2 players, if you consider getting this pick in that same realm, which it is. And of course, the tight end Matt Trankel is off the board. So that's unfortunate. I don't know how I feel about Jerry Hill. Looks good. Certainly wouldn't draft him here, though, I don't think. Interesting. I'm looking at the day 3 defensive tackles. 355 pounds and 391. Could certainly be worth taking a shot at. The really, really freakishly heavy defensive tackles are usually worth drafting. But this has to be a trade down spot for me. By trading out of this pick, we get a 1st-round pick next year from the Vikings. Hopefully they stink. But they were one of the teams that offered us a 1st-round pick. It was them, the Niners, or the Eagles. And I think I'm going to prefer the Vikings pick in that scenario. As we'll move down to the middle of the 3rd round. I mean, we really gave up everything for that defensive end. I'm going to need a dev trait that's better than Star. Ideally. Oh, we got elite speed at defensive tackle. Dominic Whiteside ran in the 4.7s at 297 pounds. Welcome to the Chargers. This is a great pickup. 88 strength, 80 speed, 83 acceleration at defensive tackle. We needed one as well. And I think if one of those real big boys gets to the 7th round, that'll be the pick there. Although I kind of expect them to be off the board. And of course, they are off the board. We'll see if we can find some type of a steal down here, although it feels unlikely. There's a middle linebacker who seems fairly athletic. Great speed. Welcome to the Chargers. 88 speed, 88 acceleration. That could be a steal down the board. That could be a really good pick. And okay, interesting. So we did get a 78 overall in Sterling Levy, which we know is top 5 in the draft. He's got 77 finesse moves, 73 power moves, 73 block shed. It's all pretty good. All pretty good. He's in the top 12% of left ends. It's a fine pick. Dominic Whiteside is a 72 overall at defensive tackle. He's going to be good enough to start right away. Block shedding's poor. Power moves is terrible. Finesse moves, great at an 80. And then John Atkinson, I was hoping was going to be a slightly higher overall. Only a 64. Really fast. Tackle, block shedding, pursuit, all pretty low. Hit power is not too bad. Coverage is actually pretty good. He might start. There might be something there. We know he's hidden dev. So that's already off to a pretty good start here. And as for the whole draft, we did get the number 1 overall player, although it wasn't a super stacked draft class. 277s, including a running back. All these guys were 2nd-round picks. The 1st round was not good. All of these players are 2nd-rounders. at the top of the draft here. That is crazy. Now, where was the tight end I was interested in? Lane Hauser was actually a higher overall, or the same overall. Ends up being slightly higher. Tranquil goes at 21 with normal development. Is really fast, though. Route running was what was lacking. Good traits, though. I would have been okay with that pick. Donald Parham also up to star dev. Got our receivers. Darius Davis is a great return specialist. Offensive line looks good. And then defensively, I mean, it makes no sense to start Nick Neiman. We're just going to go with the rookie Atkinson. And then Levy, Whiteside, Tui Pelotu. It could be a whole lot worse right now. You know what we could do as well? Is consider a 4-3, obviously. Right now, it doesn't make sense to do that, in my opinion. Because we'd probably have to start a Tito Obanaya, which I don't really want to do. But defensive line looks pretty good. Levy should end up being pretty good, I would hope. And then I guess Chris Rumpf can start at right outside linebacker, but ideally he doesn't play in our actual packages. Whiteside, Tui Pelotu up the middle, Levy and Bosa off the edge. That'll work for now. Is that Jasir Taylor? Is that who this is? Yeah, it is. Got to do better than that as our third corner. But we just don't have the means right now. And I traded a ton of picks to get that defensive end. He's got to end up panning out. He has to. I thought about Dion Henley. I think I'm just going to choose Atkinson here. I don't know. It might be the wrong decision because maybe Dion Henley could have got star development. Maybe he's got certainly has a better shot of being a long-term starter on this team than Atkinson does. But you know what? Maybe we get a surprise dev trade upgrade. The skill point could be really helpful to him. He's going to have to be a starter this season. So you know what? We might as well try to get the upgrade. So we have Oren Burks somehow. I don't know how he's ended up on this team, but it's a fine starter at outside linebacker for this season. Of course, we still have Joey Bosa. We're going to put Unstoppable on him. And you guys have pretty much seen the way the team's going to set up. So I am ready for season number 2 here. And I'm excited about the prospects and potential of this team. I think we could make a playoff run, but we might be another year away. That's kind of my expectation. We got to get Burks out of sub-linebacker role, though. It's got to be the rookie, John Atkinson. Moment of truth for Sterling Levy. Will we find out? Give me a plus ability slot. I like this. I like this. I love this. So if there were like 3 attribute columns there or 4, maybe I'd be like, all right, I don't know if the ability slot's coming. But because it was 5, there was a decent chance to get that ability slot at the end, you know what I mean? So when they get upgraded to 75, 80, 85 overall, 90, you get an ability slot if they have superstar or better development. So the pick is already paying off, in my opinion, because we are guaranteed at least superstar development. You can't get an ability slot with star dev. So it's like the little dev trait spoiler, non-spoiler. I mean, we don't know exactly what it is, but we do know it's going to be good. And we're going to find out in like a week or 2 anyway. Oh, really good defensive tackle at number 1. And then just 3-4 straight outside linebackers. Another defensive end. Okay. Well, I would say this appears to be a really good pass rusher class. Now, the strengths of the class are not defensive tackle. So I wonder if Shaquem Ellerby is truly the number 1 type guy. But outside linebacker, I like that that's a strength. We're going to certainly have that figured out. Atkinson ends up having star development, which isn't a big surprise. It's up to a 67 overall already. I could see him being, you know, a starter potentially for us, like long-term. If we move to a 4-3, I do think we're going to need a better second off-ball linebacker, one way or another. The Raiders are 6-0 at the midseason mark. We're 4-2, doing quite well. Didn't expect this from the Raiders. Number 2 offense, number 6 defense to this point. They've played incredibly well. J.K. Scott has an upgrade. Do have a number of free agents to bring back. Mike Williams, Asante Samuel Jr., Paulson Adebo, who we traded for, of course, Josh Palmer. That's probably it. The rest can test free agency. Actually, I want J.K. Scott back as well. We have $49 million to get it done. I would say 2, 3, and 4 are of highest priority, probably in that order. Mike Williams, I'd like to bring back. I know he's going to be expensive. I know he wants a 4-year deal. I do not want to give him a 4-year deal. So Asante Samuel Jr. is our first offer. He wants a little bit more money. I prefer not to give it to him. Paulson Adebo is going to want big money. He wants to be close to Texas. Interesting decision to go to college at Stanford then in the Bay Area in California, but okay. And then Josh Palmer also doesn't want to be here. No state income tax. I feel you on that. California, not the place to be, but I'd like to bring you back on a 4-year deal, and Palmer accepts. So we have $17 million to bring back Samuel and Williams. Williams, we actually can slightly afford, and he really wants to be here. I would do a 3-year deal, and Mike Williams is back. Okay, that's actually pretty big. We will probably just barely be able to afford Asante Samuel Jr., but beyond that, again, we are going to need to free up some money. So this could end up being quite difficult. The big savings would be made with, let's see here. Well, Mike Williams' contract just gets cheaper with that extension. So that's going to be fine. Brian O'Neill, again, fine. I don't really see a place where we can really save money. I'm not getting rid of Corey Linsley. Trey Pipkins. I'm just going to wait another year, but yeah, he's certainly going to be gone. Interesting. Shaquem Ellerby just has B's across the board. Probably not quite as good as I thought. Ernest Martin could be a decent pickup. We are in search of another, bona fide stud pass rusher. So we are going to keep looking. And Sterling Levy, I just noticed, has Superstar X Factor. Yeah, that's pretty good. Definitely worth trading up for. Was not exactly expecting X Factor. It's just so rare to get that. But it certainly makes the trade up for it worth it now. That is a huge difference maker. Raiders are 7-2 as well. We've had a great season. We're in a really good spot. Ooh, I do probably want to stop this simulation and try to re-sign Asante Samuel Jr. before we get to the offseason where it's make or break and we can only offer him one time and he can just decline and test free agency. I don't want that, but I do certainly want an extension. I'll actually, hold on. Let me see what my last offer was. I might just end up giving him another year and slightly more money. He's telling us he wants a higher bonus. I'm not giving him the higher bonus. I just gotta give in. Bump the bonus up slightly. And Asante Samuel Jr. is back. So we do not have a ton of cap room. We are going to be losing Parham. We're going to be losing Oren Burks. We got crushed by the Chiefs. And I still think we're going to end up being a playoff team. The defensive tackle we drafted had only star dev. Forgot to show that, but only star, which is still good. But obviously, we can do a whole lot better. We've seen Superstar X Factor as we beat the Saints to improve to 10-6. Ravens are 14-2. We should be into the playoffs either way here, but it definitely would be nice to beat them and have a little bit of momentum before we go into the playoffs. And we end up losing pretty close, 27-24 to end out the season. Dion Henley with a boost here. He's becoming pretty nice. 75 overall. Wish that was a bit higher. +5 to play rec. Goodness. Block shedding still incredibly low. He was a safety for a little while at Washington State before transitioning to more of a linebacker role. So he's just more of a cover player. Here's how Season 2 went. Justin Herbert, 4,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns to 11 picks. Dameon Pierce, 20 touchdowns, rushing for over 1,200 yards. He had over 300 attempts. Quentin Johnston had a great year. Mike Williams was a nice number 2. And Josh Palmer barely did anything underneath Donald Parham. Dion Henley, 125 tackles, 6 for loss. 19 TFLs for Tui Pelotu, 18 for the rookie Sterling Levy, 14 for Bosa, 13 for Dominic Whiteside. Only had 2 sacks, but 16 for Bosa, 7.5 for Levy, 7 for Tui Pelotu, and then 4 picks for Asante Samuel Jr. led the team. John Atkinson got 1, as did Dion Henley. Should be 3 AFC West teams in the playoffs here. We'll see if we can beat the Raiders and advance through to the Chiefs. But we won't even find out. Losing 21-18. Our offense continues to be pretty good. The defense leaves something to be desired. So we'll try to improve that. Niners beat the Bills 28-7 in the Super Bowl. Bills can't catch a break. They just can't seem to ever win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes wins league MVP, but Sterling Levy wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think I said league's MVP. That sounds brain dead. League MVP for Mahomes, but another really nice season for us. Levy has 2 skill points here. He is already, like, obviously worth trading up for at this point, we know, but it was a gamble. He's an 85 overall, 2 skill points as well, so we can get him upgraded even more. Yeah, he's going to be a really, really nice player. Already is a really nice player, to be honest. And we'll do Power Rusher, why not? Get a little boost there, since the CPU will never, ever, ever upgrade that by themselves. Becoming a more well-rounded player. He is a monster. 85 overall still. Didn't end up getting an upgrade, but is definitely better. $25 million in cap room now. You will pick up the 5th-year option on Zion Johnson. I think that's fine. Parham, we're going to let walk. Burks as well. Just everybody in here. Oh, J.K. Scott. Okay, we should look to extend J.K. Scott if we can. So the contracts have changed over to the new league year. J.K. Scott can attest free agency. We still might be able to bring him back. We couldn't bring back Dicker the kicker. He didn't end up accepting a year ago. So getting a new kicker also going to be important for us. Wow, free agency has some players, doesn't it? Trey Smith, I almost never see. Greg Newsome, we see quite often. Nick Chubb, we see quite often. Tua Tagovailoa has made it out as well. We need a new kicker and a new punter, though. You just get Ryan Stonehouse, who wants to be here. That's probably a good fit. And Harrison Butker doesn't want to be a Chief anymore. Let's go. Let's bring him to the Chargers. Oh, and Quentin Johnston has been upgraded to Superstar X Factor after another big year. Okay. Still 89 speed, though. Can't get that upgraded. All right, that's going to be really nice. A receiver we don't even need to worry about. Mike Williams is regressing, but that's okay. We have Josh Palmer in there. Running back's good. I don't think we're going to sign Trey Smith. I think Jamari Sawyer is going to have to be fine, but we do need tight end. Asante Samuel gets a boost up to Superstar Development as well, so we definitely chose a good time to re-sign him. We got Harrison Butker at least. Ryan Stonehouse still considering his offers, which is just one, just mine. And we also got Ryan Stonehouse as well, so special teams gets a big boost. So we pick at number 20 here in the NFL draft, and it's going to be tough to trade up for anybody. Sean Easley from Oregon seems pretty good. Not amazing, but we know he's a true round 1 talent. But the Oregon pass rusher, probably not going to be a fit for us. Bobby Collins, maybe from USC. Elite speed, I always like to see. A finesse moves, a tackle. There's some good things there. I just think a lot of these players are going to be off the board by the time we have a chance to pick them. Could potentially look for a safety, especially one that looks as good as Larry Tolbert does from Michigan. I'm getting some exceptional offers for number 21 overall. Superstar development players who are young, developable. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Jesus Giraldo. I don't know why we're getting such great offers for number 21. Usually you don't get these. That's an X Factor defensive tackle, Cole Keys. Okay. That's an X Factor free safety. What is happening? What is this draft? What is happening? I'm not sure I necessarily need defensive tackle. If we stay in a 3-4, which I kind of want to, edge would be more of a concern, which we could fit or fix in the draft if we moved up. Zach Allen, not to be confused with the other Zach Allen. Skip the combine. Say, hey, Roger Goodell, up yours. I'm not doing your damn combine. Am I wearing my Skip the Combine shirt? I feel like I am. Some big old school merch here. You can kind of see it. I might come out with some new stuff eventually. I just want to not put out something trash, and I need to make something I really like. Even, look at you. Trayvon Sears from Kansas State. Not as good of an athlete. Linebacker can be found down the board. Okay, I'm actually thrilled about that. Look at you. Derek Greenwood. 21 years old from Clemson, 6'2", 240, a block shed pursuit, tackle, elite speed. This is the guy. This might be the best player in the entire draft, round 3 to 4. Okay, so that's going to be somebody who we draft for sure. All right, well, we can't get the Superstar X Factor free safety because the 49ers can't afford it. That's frustrating. All right, we're sending number 21 to the Lions for Superstar X Factor defensive tackle Cole Keys, a 2nd and a 3rd round pick. But I'm probably going to want to use those to trade up I want one of those stud edge rushers, so we're going to make something happen. Okay, we're trading Dominic Whiteside, a first, a third, and a third in 2027 for A.J. McCarron. That's our new starting quarterback and number 5. So obviously, just doing that for salary cap purposes. I don't want A.J. McCarron. Just the worst player I could get. And Sean Easley or Bobby Collins is going to end up being what it is. One of these guys is going to be the guy. They're both true round 1 talents. So outside of the top 5, could be tied for top 5. I think that Bobby Collins is slightly better. That's my lean right now. And I'm not really sure where they're expected to go, to be honest. So we're going to find out. I might have to trade up again. There goes Darian Lake. Bucks take Ernest Martin. I mean, they're flying off the board. I'm going to trade up 1 spot with the Broncos. The Broncos let me jump them. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. And we're going to do that to win the division. I appreciate it. All right. Didn't want to risk Bobby Collins going off the board. I think that's going to be the one. He's a year younger. He's a better athlete. Also has A finesse moves, A tackle. We needed a big-time edge rusher, and I think we got one. 86 speed, 89 acceleration, 77 strength. Looks like a good player. Simulating to the middle of the 2nd round now. We pick again in 5 spots. I think we're going to take linebackers. Linebacker seems like the way to do it. They seemed great, unless there's a really good corner with this pick. Which, you know what? Darius Spencer might be okay. Only solid speed, but it looks good. Oh, that's a maybe. Some of these defensive tackles also look really good. Chuck Brooks and David Sharp. But I think it is... We're gonna go with the corner. We just need a 3rd corner. And Darius Spencer looks pretty good for Michigan State. That'll be the pick. Does have hidden dev, which is nice. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 92 agility. I talked myself into it, and I think it's going to work out. Who do we take first? Zach Allen or Derek Greenwood? I think Greenwood's the better player. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get both unless I trade up. Greenwood is first off the board. 86 speed, 88 acceleration. He just looks incredible at this spot. A block shed, play rec, pursuit, hit power, tackle. This looks like a first-round player. And we've been able to find outside linebacker steals down the board in a lot of rebuilds this year. Just seems to be that's where you find the steals. Outside linebacker, 3rd or 4th round. And I think we're going to try to do a slight trade up just to secure, you know, just to make sure we get our guy. John Atkinson, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Moves us up into the 2nd round. And we just don't need John Atkinson anymore because we're going to get a better linebacker with this next pick. And I just think that's the right move for us at this particular juncture. So, Zach Allen is the pick. A to B block shed, A pursuit, A tackle, B zone coverage. Also looks incredible. And he skipped the combine. Welcome to the Chargers. Also hidden dev. 85 speed, 88 acceleration. Another fantastic pick. And from San Diego State. Bring San Diego back to the Chargers. Just seems like the move. Look at this guy. Troy Stevens from Southern Arkansas. B catching, C deep route running, B release, all good. He's not the greatest athlete. He's supposed to go around 2 to 3. He's available in the 6th. Probably has normal dev, but seems too good for this pick. Definitely seems too good. So I'm a little confused. Could potentially try moving one of these guys to tight end as well. Might try it with Anton Callaway. 90 speed, 90 acceleration. 6'2", 230. Could move him to tight end. It's maybe the best use of that pick. Draft recap. How'd we do? I think those linebackers are going to be fantastic. And they are. Bobby Collins ends up being a 76 overall, which I think is pretty good for an edge rusher. Typically don't see them, you know, get much higher than this for the outside linebackers. And if they are, they're very amazing. He's definitely really good. 86 speed, 89 acceleration, we know, but 80 finesse move, 75 block shed, 79 tackle and pursuit is a really good start. Darius Spencer's 74. That's a good... Ooh, interesting. That's a good 3rd corner. Now, he's got awful man coverage, Not great press, great zone coverage. I'm thinking a move back to safety is going to be the move for him. Overall might jump up. Derek Greenwood is a 76. Not really much of a pass coverage guy, but great block, shed, pursuit, tackle. Everything looks good there. And then Zach Allen, probably going to be about the same. Not much of a cover guy, but great block, shed, pursuit, tackle. Yeah, looks not identical, but very similar build. Anton Callaway is a 68. Can I move you to tight end? Can you block? Not really, but he might have to play tight end for us. Spencer goes up to a 76 overall at free safety. Callaway goes up to a 69 overall at tight end. And, I mean, these guys are going to have to move inside to inside linebacker. At least Derek Greenwood will. His overall goes down to a 74. Shaquem Ellerby ends up being a 77, the highest rated player in the class. Larry Tolbert does end up being good as well, the highest overall player tied in the class. And I do think we did pretty well. Spencer ends up being rated really well. Bobby Collins. Like, 76 is really good in this class. And we also got a 76. We moved down to a 74 overall by moving him to inside linebacker. But in the 3-4, that's just what makes sense. So it doesn't make sense to have the higher overall, but be playing in a position that essentially doesn't make any sense for his skill set, which is what an off-ball linebacker playing outside linebacker in a 3-4 would do, unless it's like a 3-4 multiple front. But I'm not even sure if that's really a thing in the game. Keys is a big pickup with Superstar X Factor. Allen's a 73 overall D-end. Interesting. But yeah, I think that's what the D-line's going to look like. Greenwood and Henley. Allen as the backup. And then Collins off the edge. So specialists should look like... I was going to say Levy and Tui Pulotu up the middle. Bosa and Collins. But I guess we could just keep it like that. Okay, just went to free agency to look for a tight end. And there is an 85 overall undrafted free agent rookie punter with 99 punt accuracy. I mean, you see something new every day. It's a shame I signed a punter in free agency because I clearly just found a way better one. I'm also going to sign Stephon Gilmore. Might as well, right? Okay, well, the punter's not going to have much value, but he's going to be cheap and really good. We'll sign Josh Oliver as well. Could also trade for a tight end. That could be the move. And they're usually not typically very difficult to trade for. Trading Cam Akers and a second-round pick for Trey McBride. I think it was just the best tight end that we could have easily traded for. He's only 25 years old, 82 overall. Just a good starter right now. Our team looks quite good, I think, especially the defense. We have a lot of potential here. Hopefully it's not just complete star dev across the board with all these hidden development players. We'll see. We have 4 rookies with big-time potential. Hopefully at least one of those guys is a superstar dev. Still going to start Dion Henley, and I set up the defensive line the way I said earlier with Bosa and the rookie Bobby Collins off the edge, and we're playing the other guys inside. The X Factor is going to be DT3, but I can see him end up playing more if he develops more. But we're going 3-4 defense. Need the offense to stay good, potentially get even better, and then preferably the defense takes a big step up this year. And Bobby Collins had a big preseason, gets +5 to play rec. Good start. If he can continue this momentum, bring it into the regular season, we could be looking at a superstar type player, whether he gets, a dev trade upgrade or not. We can see big time numbers get produced. Bobby Collins needs 2 TFLs or sacks to continue his breakout. I'm skeptical that it's going to happen, but I'd love to be wrong. And we got crushed 35-7. Well, that's not great, and I'm expecting that we didn't get the upgrade either. So the offense and defense are both terrible. Great stuff. Year 3 is going to be terrible. Great. But it seems like we've bounced back a bit. We're 4-2. Offense is middle of the road, but our defense is near the top of the league. So just one bad game, but I didn't overreact, didn't panic, stayed the course, and it seems like things are going pretty well now. Don't see any abilities for Bobby Collins, but he still could have superstar dev or above. His dev trait is not revealed yet like I thought it would be, so it might not, it's not like we'd panic, right? But it's not time to overreact either. Gonna still rock with Bobby Collins, and hopefully he ends up getting a superstar or better development, or winning Rookie of the Year and earning Superstar Dev if he doesn't have it already. Who's going to be a free agent here in 2025? 73 mil in cap room. Joey Bosa, Rashawn Slater, Dameon Pierce, Trey McBride. A lot of players. Although I thought it would end up being more, actually. So I think we're definitely going to re-sign Jamari Sawyer and do a 5-year deal. It's a pretty cheap contract for a starting right guard, and he's fine. Joey Bosa on a 3-year deal, I think is a bit much. I would do a 2-year contract. Hopefully he accepts that. And what is the feedback? At these numbers, I just like more time with this franchise. I misread it the first time. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. Maybe, though. Rashawn Slater, big extension. We'll do 6 years. Franchise left tackle. Dameon Pierce, 25 years old, approaching that 90 overall threshold. I'll do a 4-year contract. Dameon Pierce returns. So Bosa's going to be back. Trey McBride is going to be back on an extension as well. So it really just comes down to Joey Bosa signing the extension. I might just end up doing a 3-year contract. I know we're going to watch him regress, but he's just still really good. We had a major second half of the year. We ended up going 14-3. And I want to say we were like 5-3 at one point. So we had 2 losses up to week 5 and then 3 through week 9. And then we won every game. Now, some of these were really, really close, but they're all wins. If we can just do that in the playoffs, we're going to be Super Bowl champions. I don't care if we win by 1 or 100, which we're not going to win by 100. At least I don't think so. Justin Herbert, great year. Touchdowns are down, but that's because Dameon Pierce had 18 of them. Receiving, no one had 1,000 yards, but everyone was so close. Quentin Johnston had 0 touchdowns. 7 for McBride, 7 for Palmer, 7 for Williams, 0 for Johnston, who led the team, I thought, in catches. Trey McBride actually had 5 more. Led all receivers in catches. Right there with yards. Wow, that's crazy. And then defensively, kind of what you're used to. 19 TFLs for Sterling Levy, 15 for Tui Pelotu, 14 for Bosa, 11 for Bobby Collins, who only had 3.5 sacks. Tui Pelotu led the team in sacks with 11. But these are unlikely to be Rookie of the Year numbers for Bobby Collins, who does not have abilities. He's star dev. 86 speed, 82 finesse moves. Block shed's good. I mean, he's definitely a good player, but a little bit disappointing. Paulson Adebo with 5 picks. I could see him getting upgraded to superstar dev. He looks really, really good. Definitely a nice player to trade for in franchise if you guys are looking for somebody. Under the radar, cheap to get, easy to develop. Raiders in the playoffs. We're probably going to do another year, so I'm not going to jump into the wild card. So hopefully we get the win anyway, and we get shut out 14-0. We're going home. All right, offense didn't show up. Defense ended up finishing as the #1 defense. Offense was good, just not good enough. We're top 10 in points scored and come out and get shut out to the Raiders. AFC West was incredible, except for the Broncos, who were awful. Derek Greenwood actually gets a skill point here. He has abilities. Does he have superstar dev? He won Defensive Rookie of the Year and earned it. It's actually huge. Now, his coverage could be better, and that's going to take him up to the next level. Got to get his pass coverage up, but this team's really coming along really well. Like where we are. Always have Stephon Gilmore and also Stephen Gilmore. Nice. 49ers beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Mahomes wins NFL MVP. And Shaquem Ellerby, Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Bears, of course, in the NFC. So Joey Bosa is probably going to regress here. It might make him cheaper to re-sign. It might change what he's looking for, because he's like, hey, I'm going to be worse now. So he's down to an 89 overall. I think he was a 91. So we probably could just give him a medium risk contract that's cheaper. I'll just give him 3 years, whatever. Joey Bosa's back. We can definitely pick up the 5th-year option on... actually, we're gonna wait on... No, we're gonna pick up the 5th-year option on Quentin Johnston, because that's 2 more years. $21 million in available salary cap. Corey Linsley's in here. I didn't even notice him. He's 35. What do you want? It's not too bad. For 1 more year, Corey Linsley's going to be fine. And then this star dev punter, Mark Robbins. I mean, I give him a 1-year deal to stick around. Not interested in signing. I don't blame you. We have Ryan Stonehouse signed to a long-term extension. If I knew that player was going to exist, I obviously wouldn't have done that, but can't know the future. Ryan Stonehouse is in free agency. How is that possible? I swear I signed him to a long-term extension. Did the CPU cut him? I guess that could have happened, in which case I need Mark Robbins. Oh my goodness. Mark Robbins is back in LA. There we go. A lot of good looking pass rushers in this draft. We don't need any of those, unfortunately. Although, well, we don't need a defensive tackle really either. Thaddeus Colbert does look quite good. What do we need? Kind of feels like a trade or a best player available type situation. Now, I'm really trying to think, what is the best way to go about this? Running back is fine. The entire offense really feels quite good. Defensively, maybe a corner, maybe a safety. Trey McBride up to superstar. I mean, the offense is fantastic. If there's a really good center maybe, or interior offensive lineman. And then defensively, like, you could maybe look for a linebacker. It's really just depth in the secondary, and that's it. I probably wouldn't draft a linebacker because we're not going to do better than what we have. Yeah, so it's something in the secondary or a trade, and a trade would be the best way to get the most value. Oh yeah, this guy, Jabril Hammond. That's right. Only solid speed, but is going to end up being a really good player. I do also like the name Jabril. Never heard that one before. I know Jabril, Peppers, but Jabril is interesting. A-man, A-press, B-zone, B-hit power, B-awareness. Definitely looks very, very good. Although, wish he was a bit more athletic. Gerald Towns is going to be good down the board. That's probably going to be who I pick. Is this corner even still going to be there? Ralph Austin, by the way, from Oklahoma looks quite good, but that's just not going to be somebody we need to draft. It was not Tremaine Andrews. It was somebody else. Terrell Arnold also looks good. So he'll be my pick if I can't trade for a better defensive back, which I think I'm going to be able to. I'm trading a first-round pick to get Andre Sisco. Feels all right for us, especially a team that's in a win-now type of stage. We get a better starting free safety, 26 years old, 86 overall, great speed. Coverage is going to get upgraded on our team with his zone archetype. And then that leaves us with Darius Spencer. What do we do with him? We simply move him back to corner. We got a steal, by the way, in the 6th round. Levi Offord, 75 overall, slot archetype receiver with 98 agility, 90 juke move, 92 change of direction. Oh my goodness. Why not just move this guy to running back? No stiff arm, no trucking, carrying's not great. But something tells me he might be okay there. 5'8", 188. What an interesting receiver down the board. CPU drafted him. Hats off to them. That is an incredible looking player. And the draft class is kind of what we thought it would be. A lot of these defensive ends at the top. Ooh, Tuli Tuipulotu. Gonna get a big boost. +3 to power and finesse moves. That's big before this season. Doing really well. We're in a good spot. I think this is going to be a real true breakout year for us. We went 14-3 last year, so maybe not actually. We can't really. But I mean in terms of overall success, especially in the playoffs. We're in a great spot. Just got to continue that forward momentum of a season ago. 90 finesse moves, 92 strength. Cole Keys is very good. Defense looks great. We have talent all over the place and depth. And then offensively, we have, I would say, talent. Less depth here, but with this receiver, this rookie slot, agile, change of direction freak, we also have a bit of depth there. So, hoping for a big year. I don't need 14 wins. I just need to get into the playoffs and win in the playoffs. Well, I said we don't need 14-3, but we might be headed for it. 5-1 at the midseason mark. Chiefs 4-3. We do have a higher overall team than they do, but they're obviously still very good. If we lose here, again, doesn't really matter a ton. It's not the playoffs yet, but when it becomes playoff time, it's time to kick it into gear. Can't afford a loss, obviously. You guys know how the playoffs work. I don't know why I'm explaining that. Playoff time, we go 12-5, so not quite as good from a season ago, but we still were quite good. Offensively, Justin Herbert really found his stride. 4,400 yards passing, 39 touchdowns to 6 picks. Dameon Pierce was even better than before. Yards per carry jumped up more than a full yard. 15 touchdowns, nearly 1,500 yards rushing. Trey McBride with a big breakout year. 16 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards receiving. Quentin Johnston was great, as was Josh Palmer. Mike Williams was a receiver who really didn't do that much for us, but a great year. And then defensively, 200-plus tacklers. And pressure-wise, We did better than we've done in years past. 23 TFLs for Sterling Levy, 19 for Tui Pelotu, and sacks 12 for Tui Pelotu, 9 for Sterling Levy, 8 for Joey Bosa, and then nobody else really did a whole lot. Bobby Collins is really just a rotational pass rusher for us, and he's a great player, but not really doing a whole lot of rushing the passer effectively. And we actually force a fair few amount of turnovers as well. Wildcard round of the playoffs. Steelers are an 85 overall. Still these same names you're kind of used to seeing. 90 overall versus their 85. Gotta think we can get the win here at home, but there is no home field advantage with the LA Chargers, unfortunately. And we are down already 7-0. Finally on the board to tie it up here in the second quarter and taking the lead, too, before the half. We managed to keep the Steelers out of the end zone. We have a 17-10 lead, 24-10 lead. Our defense is playing really well, and we've made a huge stop on the goal line to keep the Steelers out. That's the ball game, 38-17. Big win. Close game for a while. We really pulled away in the third quarter, and especially the fourth quarter. That is a big-time win. And Justin Herbert and the Chargers win in the playoffs? I hardly believe it myself. Jets in the divisional. Okay, this is an interesting matchup. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback there. I expect that he's not, and it does even feel a little bit bizarre to say that because Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback for the Packers for so long, obviously, and there's all of this build up to the offseason 2 years in a row about where Aaron Rodgers is going to go, and then he finally goes to the Jets, and then we've never really actually seen him play for the Jets as fucking believable. Are you kidding me? Brett Favre goes to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, who backs up Brett Favre, first round pick, ends up taking over. It's reported that Favre and Rodgers were not like the most happy with that situation. Brett Favre leaves, goes to the Jets, or ends up on the Jets at least. And now, after Aaron Rodgers followed in Brett Favre's footsteps, Jordan Love has done the same thing. I mean, this is unbelievable. How do we have 3 straight Packers quarterbacks go straight from the Packers to the Jets? It just seems unbelievable. And you know what? Hopefully we don't see any more of Jordan Love Jets here in this video. Knock him out of the playoffs now. We're down 14-3. Inching back in this game, and just down by 1 point. We take the lead. Jets have been stranded at 14 points for a while. This looks like a Chargers game in reverse. The Jets have given up, what, like 25 straight points? Something in that neighborhood. What a dominant comeback by the Chargers. Look at the chart there. It was 15-0, essentially, or something like that. I think probably 14-0. I forgot the score, but it's rare to see 15 points in a game. But yeah, 14-0, and we take the lead 20-14 or something close to that, 21-14, and then win 38-20. And that's a garbage time score by the Jets as well. All right, we're moving on to the AFC Championship. Full momentum. Defense is coming up huge, and our offense continues to score massive amounts of points. Damian Pierce going to be playing up to a 95 overall. I don't know who's stopping this team. Our offense is great. You're kind of used to that. That's kind of the expectation as we score 38 points in back-to-back playoff games. But the defense has been outstanding. 85 overall Bills team gets home field advantage here in the playoffs, but they're like kind of a low-key 85 overall. They have superstar X-Factor players that can carry this team to the next level. And we got to be careful. And we have the early lead, but the Bills take the score right back to tied, and they keep doing it. 14-14, 21-14 Bills, and we're going to keep tying things up. Nobody seems to be able to get the edge here. We're up 28-21, 35-21. We are a second-half team because this game is over. Bills try as they might. Oh, no, they actually made it somewhat close, but not close enough. Too little, too late. Shout out to JoJo, as always. That is your final score, 48-35 in one of the most high-scoring playoff games of all time. Justin Herbert throws for close to 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Josh Allen had a remarkable playoff game. Just 6 incompletions, 348 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. If you were to tell me that he was completely outplayed by the other quarterback, I'd call you crazy. 5 touchdowns, a perfect 158.3 passer rating. Run game didn't have much going, but 2 touchdowns for Dameon Pierce. And then receiving, Stephon Diggs goes for over 200 yards. Mike Williams over 100 with 2 scores. Johnston close to 150 with a touchdown. Dameon Pierce over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Who didn't go off today? Chargers, Giants, the almost Eli Manning Bowl. Very fun. Herbert's going to go up to a 99 overall with morale. True 98 overall, as he looks very, very good. He's ready to lead the Chargers to a Super Bowl, led by superstar X-Factor wide receiver Quentin Johnston. Wouldn't believe this by watching, this team play in 2023. But here we are, a few years down the line. Anything's possible in 2026. As, can I think of an actual Chargers and Giants player? Austin Johnson, Geno Smith, actually, Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, actually a lot. Okay. And I'm sure there are even more than that. Austin Johnson being the first to pop into my mind is a little bit perplexing. The defensive tackle, I think he definitely played for both. And Alec Ogletree gets to the Chargers. I don't believe so. I don't know why he popped in my head. I'm missing somebody. Missing somebody for sure. Was Levine Toilolo a Charger? It's definitely a Giant for a brief time. I know he's a Falcon for sure. Kyler Fackrell's another one. I just thought of him. Kyler Fackrell. Levine Toilolo was a Lion. A Niner, not a Charger. Not a Charger. Oh, Linval Joseph. That's another one. I'm looking up a list of players. Didn't see Linval Joseph, just remembered it. Who did I miss that's big? Andre Williams. Oh, yeah. I actually think... I was going to say that Wayne Gallman, I thought, played for the Chargers maybe briefly too, but I don't see him on this list. Austin Johnson's there. Mike Remmers. DJ Fluker was a Giant. That's right. Jeremy Davis, I remember for the Giants. John Carney. Would not have remembered him with the Chargers. Yeah, not a lot of big names on here, but I think I actually hit quite a few. Nick Vannett, I always forget, was a Giant. Definitely don't remember him with the Chargers, but he's played on the team this year. Justin Hollins is another guy I don't remember with the Giants. It's not a great list, to be honest, but it's not relevant right now. Why am I playing the game? What am I doing? Is Falcons franchise back? No. But yeah, it's good as a Giants fan to see them in the Super Bowl. It gives me hope that a rebuild is possible. Although with Daniel Jones at quarterback, maybe I'm slightly more skeptical. Here we are, trying to knock off the Giants and win a Super Bowl. Don't let the Giants get their 5th. Low-scoring game so far, and the Giants are playing really great defense. We've gotten close to the end zone. We just can't seem to score. We're settling for field goal tries, and things are just not going especially well. 4th and 10. 4 minutes left on the clock. Jamie Gillen and the Giants will punt. We're going to need to go a long way because this is from midfield. They're going to pin us at the 22, which is not pinning at all. You'd be better off with a touchback. And all we need for the win is a field goal. That's it. Playing for the score, I'm not sure if our kicker... actually, I am sure. He's not going to have any superstar abilities that stop me from getting iced. And if I get iced, I'm not making it. We've seen that happen a billion times. Quentin Johnston. Oh, that's got to be pass interference. Is that a joke? Justin Herbert has not played especially well in this game, and I just didn't do him any favors there. Johnston looked like he was working open, but doesn't really end up leading to much. We're going to go to Johnston again. That's a laser beam, and Quentin Johnston with the big catch gives us a first down around midfield. All right, we needed something like that. We don't have to pass here. Time is on our side. In fact, we want to take more of it off. We want to score as time expires, if possible. And feeding Dameon Pierce could be a good way to do that. Oh, no. All right, Giants were really ready for the run there. And we're going to have to kind of work quickly. We're going to have to speed up. I'm not trying a 58-yarder. I'm not doing it. We're going to have to move the chains another way. I like the idea of running a mesh here. Some of you would probably settle for the field goal try. Just not 100% confident, especially if they ice us. We're going to check down. It's Callaway. And we're going to be short. I chose the wrong one. The problem with this is the depth of Trey McBride. He goes around Isaiah Simmons when he's supposed to go underneath. And he gets so far up the field that these routes kind of go together. And, I mean, he's not open here. You can say maybe this is open, but I don't really buy it. Ball's already out as well. It's a great tackle by Isaiah Simmons. We're going to need to stop. It's the route of Trey McBride is what I'm going to blame that on. But our defense is great. We've played great. We've only allowed 7 points. Let's keep it up. We have timeouts. We're fine. We are in a fine spot. Just have to stop the Giants. That's it. And you know what? That feels easy. Oh no, Donald Parham's on the team as well. Our Parham as Saquon shut down. It's 3rd and 9. Do they try to pass? Maybe. We'll have to be ready for it, but I want my safeties up. And they are going to pass. Jones under pressure. Bring him down. That's a huge play. That is a really stupid, idiot time for Daniel Jones to take a sack. And that may have just won us the game. That might be a little bit like aggressive to say that the game's over because of him taking a sack there. But that is a huge play, and everyone was going to bring him down. Who ends up making the play? That's number 53. It's Levy. Love that. 1:18, no timeouts, but a field goal wins us the game. Now, we're going to end up getting iced, but a field goal wins us the game. That's it. Darius Davis, big-time return. I mean, there's a little bit of space there. All right, that works. And I would say we're in, like, kind of a rush. It's not a ton, shockingly. Just catch that ball, Josh Palmer. We're there. We're already in field goal range. 44 seconds on the clock. We are there. 20 seconds now. We can't afford to take a sack, but we're in field goal range. Damian Pierce steps out of bounds. 13 seconds. That should be a penalty as well. Give me 15 yards. All right, this could end up being a throwaway. It was always going to be a design rollout. And we're going to throw it to the end zone. Justin Herbert, laser beam to Josh Palmer. I wish I could do that in Falcons franchise. We have the best quarterback we could have. We have Josh Palmer. Why am I not just going for the field goal there? Well, because we have Justin Herbert, 1. I'm confident we can make any throw. And 2, I do not feel confident in making an iced field goal. Herbert with a dime. Under pressure, on the run, rolling out. I mean, it's just an unbelievable throw. And Josh Palmer, great job of working open. And we'll go for the 2-point conversion to make it a touchdown game. And the slant will be open. And Herbert misses him under pressure. Nice. He can make any throw, except for that one. Thankfully, it doesn't end up mattering a ton, as the Giants will need a touchdown. Squib kick should take off about, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds. It'll bring him out maybe to the 40-yard line. That was a little bit better of a return than I wanted, but it's pretty much exactly what I said happened, or what happened. And now there are 4 seconds left on the clock. This will be your final play of the game for the New York Football Giants. Jones under pressure, lobbing up, and pass falls incomplete. The Chargers are Super Bowl champions. Justin Herbert wins the big one. It's going to suck if he has like that Dan Marino type career where he puts up these gaudy numbers and just never ends up winning a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, as a Giants fan, I want the Giants to win every Super Bowl, but it's not feasible. Giants can't even make the playoffs. They've done it, what, twice since 2016 and probably 3 times since 2011. Those are not great numbers. So you like to see these awesome players get their accolades. You know, Herbert should get one. Trevor Lawrence should get one. You know, all these great young quarterbacks are deserving of that hardware. And Herbert's just not been in a position to succeed, honestly. It's been one thing after another. And the team, and not that he's perfect, can't make a mistake, but the team consistently collapses around him. It's unbelievable. It really is amazing how often it happens. Nobody can catch a pass when they get the ball right in their hands. The defense suddenly can't make a stop. And this is not new to the Chargers with Justin Herbert. This was the same thing that happened to Phillip Rivers. The Chargers in 2010 had the #1 offense the #1 defense, and missed the playoffs. That doesn't even sound like it could be possible. But yes, apparently special teams was just that bad. Most yards, fewest yards allowed, didn't make the playoffs. Insane. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.